Good evening, everybody. Me and my wife have spent most of the day in the garden harvesting some stuff, and then we wanted to share how we cook tonight. Just a vegetable dinner with everything that we grew out of the garden. We have our green beans. These are already cooked. We canned about 2 weeks ago. We have the little bitty potatoes. They don't take real long to cook. They only take about 15 minutes boiling time, and they're perfect. We have our bacon grease for our squash. We have our onions. We harvested what was left. We eat them as they grow. And we had a few left, and we harvest them and we wrap them in saran wrap and put them in the refrigerator because they had done bloomed. And if you leave them to dry after they bloom, the heart rots out. We have our summer crookneck squash. We have our starburst 8-ball. And a big bowl of them over here, and I'm fixing to get slicing up the onion and get to cooking. But first we got to add our bacon grease. We collect this up ourselves every time we cook bacon. We do not refrigerate it. It stays right next to the rest of our cooking oil. I use 2 big heaping spoonfuls. And if you just leave your spoon there, it'll warm up and melt right into the pan. You want to cook these on about 3.5. It takes them quite a while to cook the water down, because if you turn it up real high, it'll burn and stick in the cast iron real bad. So I'm gonna get slicing. I like to put the onion on first and let it go to cooking first. And then I just slice and add until the pan is heaped over, because when it cooks down, all of those squash will fit into this pan right about here when it's totally finished, because they're basically water. There's no need to preheat your pan. You turn it on when you start cooking. And you'll see I'm peeling off one outside layer that's dried up some. With these starburst squash, all you have to do is cut the bloom end off just a little bit and the stem off. But these suckers is super starchy. Your hands will be very slick after doing this. There's no need to try to get fancy with it. It'll cook down. With the crookneck squash, I try to cut them about 3/8 of an inch. And be somewhat consistent with them, because they stick to each other so bad while you're cooking them. All right, we've got all our squash cut up and in the pot, in the cast iron skillet. You can hear it sizzling. We cook them several ways. We like to make squash casserole. That's one of my favorite, where we just boil the squash down and then we drain the water off, put it in the colander, and then let it drain out, keeping them really good and hot. And then you add 4 eggs and some cheese and put it in a casserole dish, and that's yummy, yummy. We also steam them. We fry them in the fryer also, slice them thin, fry them up just like tater chips. But this is mine and my wife's favorite way right here, is cooked down in bacon grease. I'll set a timer for 8 minutes and leave it on about 3.5 to 4 on the oven stove dial, and then I'll come back and stir them. You want them to sizzle a little bit, and about 25 minutes we'll have to drain some water off because there's a lot of water. And in 15 minutes before these is ready, we'll put the potatoes on and the snap beans, and we're gonna have a vegetable dinner tonight. We'll show you what it all looks like when we get through with it. Well, we're ready to eat now, and this is what pan-fried squash looks like with bacon grease and onion. Our potatoes are boiling. We keep them in good and hot where the butter will melt real quick. We thank y'all, and our green beans are ready too. We thank y'all for watching. We're gonna eat supper.